Hi everyone, welcome to today's Tuesday Talk. Today is the start of a new month. It's November, and I'm going to give you my October results today and what my plans are for November. Well, let's get right to it. What were my results in October? Now, I had some days, we had Canadian Thanksgiving, and then there was the leftovers from that, and, anyways, October's over. Practically over. We actually have one more day, but because of, the time between filming and publishing, I wanted this video to be ready for you for November 1st, which is the day you are hopefully seeing this video. So, I lost 3 pounds. It's a loss. Did I want more? Of course. Last month I lost 3.5 pounds. So it's less than last month. However, here is the reason why I am so glad that I've been doing my measurements once a month. I lost 4.5 inches this past month. Now, last month, at the end of the month, I had lost 3.5 pounds, but only 3 inches. So it just seems like sometimes your body physically is shrinking, but it's not reflecting on the scale as much, and vice versa. So, it's important to do both, I think. Track weight, track measurements once a month. And so that's what I'm doing. So I lost 1 inch on my bust, 2 inches on my waist, only 0.5 inch on my hips. That one's going to be the last to go. And my thighs, 0.5 inch off each thigh. Though my hips and my thighs definitely will be the last to go. But the body just does what the body does, and my whole family is pear-shaped. All the women in my family. When I was in Alberta this last summer, visiting all my aunties, we all have exactly the same shape. So I come by it honestly. I guess I have to say I'm happy with that. And then when you combine that with the results of my lab test, which I reported on in last Tuesday's talk, I'll link that below in case you didn't see it, because my cholesterol was high. But all my other markers were excellent. I'm super happy with the direction that my health is going in. And that is the main purpose of doing this, right? I mean, yes, we all want to lose weight. But really, this is about health. And as I'm getting into my senior years, yes, I'm a senior, getting into those senior years, I watched my mom and how much she struggled as someone who was over 100 pounds overweight and a senior. Boy, when she fell, you needed 3 people to get her up. We always had to call 911 to get her up off the floor. And she struggled with the most simple things like, wiping herself and all those things. I don't want any of that when I'm in my 80s. I don't, and she has struggled with this sort of thing for quite a long time. So she had struggled with it. So I think, spending the last 5 years with her and watching her struggle really upped my motivation. And so I've been very motivated lately to make these changes. So challenge for November is to continue on, and I'm adding a few things. My challenge theme this month, and I try to have kind of a catchphrase or a hashtag or something, is thankfully keto on. I have had my Thanksgiving already, but many of you who follow me are in the US, and you are going to have your Thanksgiving. And I just kind of want all of us to think about what are the things we are grateful for when we are following this lifestyle. And I wanted to bring that idea of gratitude into my challenge this month, and hopefully yours too, if you're, following along. So thankfully, Keto On is going to be this month's catchphrase. And I'll use that hashtag in the Facebook group and, other like that. So what are my plans for November? So I'm going to track my macros. Everybody knows how much I hate tracking macros. I find it a pain. I'm, much more about intuitive eating. But on the other hand, sometimes when you've come from a long history of, eating, I'm not saying I have an eating disorder, maybe some would say I do, but when you come from a long history of being obese your entire life, I have lost over 125 pounds at this point. It's taken me almost 10 years to do that, just for full transparency. That's a long time, and there was periods of time where, when my dad passed away in 2017, I gained some weight and I stayed there for quite a long time. I've had periods like that. So it's been a long journey. But when you've had that kind of history, I don't know if I can trust my intuition. That's the bottom line. I don't know if I can trust my hunger cues. So a little bit of tracking to kind of see what my baselines are, and maybe help me to see where I can improve things to get, to have maybe a more reliable path to my goal weight. This is a constant journey, and it's something that I'm tweaking as I go, even 10 years down the road. I know that there are people out there who go on a food plan, whether it's keto, carnivore, Weight Watchers, whatever it is, they go on a food plan, they apparently lose all their weight in one go and live happily ever after. And that's not my story. My story is fraught with ups and downs, weight gains, weight losses, 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward, 1 step forward, that kind of thing. That's been what it is. And to be honest, over these last years, I've talked with a lot of people. I have a lot of people in my age group, a lot of women in my Facebook group who follow me, and I hear the same from them. I think my journey might actually be more normal than what you see out there on Instagram and maybe even YouTube. I don't have a perfect journey. I just don't. And I'm honored that people follow me anyways and, try to improve their life one step at a time, one day at a time, one tweak at a time. So all that to say, I'm tracking my macros in November. No commitment after that, because then we're into December, and boy, does it get busy. I am also shooting for an 80% or higher of fat in my Ketovore. And so that requires me to track my macros, because I don't really have a good sense for how, a piece of meat, you put that in front of me, I can't really tell, well, gee, is that 60% fat or 80% fat or whatever. So I am learning that. And by the time the next Tuesday talk comes around, I'm hoping to have a list that I can share with you of simple meal ideas and which ones are approximately 80% or more fat. I wanted to do that today, but honestly, I'm still learning, and I didn't want to give wrong information, so I thought it's better to wait a week until I learn more, because I've been reading a lot, watching a lot of videos, following a lot of people who are doing this, trying to figure out how this works. So it's not as simple as just plunking a stick of butter down and saying I'm going to eat all that. Because there's other things that come into play. Well, how much protein am I having? Like, there's other things that affect this. So and I don't want to gain weight. So the other thing I'm going to do is instead of waiting till the end of the month, I want more feedback. So for the month of November, I'm going to weigh once a week. And I'll report those results all through November. I'm not going to do the measurements because those move slowly. But the weight, yes, I will report my weight weekly for November. I'm also going to track my ketones and glucose. I am the happy owner of a brand new dual keto mojo thingy, and I have learned how to do that. And so yeah, I will track that, and it's new to me. I don't know what I'm doing there. I'm just going to track it and report it. If anyone, has any tips or, I don't even really know what the best times a day to track. Right now I'm tracking in the morning when I wake up. I don't know if I should be doing it twice a day or any tips. I would appreciate. I kind of want to see how a day of food might affect those readings. So I'll report those as well. I've opened up a spreadsheet. I'm just tracking all this on a spreadsheet to see where I am. And I am not type 2 diabetic. The glucose is just for my information and to see how certain things affect my readings. I am also going to have a formal, not formal, I hate to say formal. I'm looking closer at exercise. In the summer, it was easy and natural to get a lot of steps in. I wear a Fitbit. It is pouring rain out there today. I mean, in fact, we're having an atmospheric river. I hate atmospheric river because it means like an abnormally large amount of rain. I think they're expecting 80 to 100 millimeters today. So it's hard to get out there. I mean, Aquafit is now done for the year at the pool. Walks with Teddy are short. We just go out, do your business, come back, as opposed to a long, nice walk in the sunshine. So last week I talked about Get Fit with Rick. And a lot of you, thank you. You gave me lots of other channels as well that are easy for someone like me to follow, things that are geared to older women or people. I have a bad knee. Everybody, I think knows that. So things that are more geared to someone in my situation. And I certainly appreciate that. And so I'm not going to commit to do that every day because it's just not going to happen. But I'm going to commit to 3 days a week or more. And I've also got myself a set of small weights, like just only 2 pounds because I'm a beginner here. And I'll see what I can do with those. So more movement, more exercise, try to make up for the fact that I've lost some because of the weather. And I'm going to continue on with my intermittent fasting. I have been pretty much consistently doing 16 hours of fasting, 8-hour eating window. Now, that might need to be adjusted with my goal of having a certain number of grams of protein daily and 80% fat to get it all in. I might have to maybe do 14 hours or if I can still get it all in 2 meals, then that'll be okay. The 16-8 will work. And, this is going to be experimental for me and require some tweaking. And it'll all be interesting at any rate. I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly don't. And I'm looking forward to November to, really having a good handle on data. I come from that kind of a mindset, being an accountant. I actually was a science major when I was back in college. And so data is something that that I like. I like that feedback, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens by the end of November. And I hope that you guys follow along. And I just want to emphasize one more time that, which I did in my last video as well, don't do these things that I'm doing just because I'm doing them. Do them only if right for you. If what you are doing is working, just keep at it. I tweak because I'm not quite happy with my results. And I'm a continual tweaker. And that's not everybody. Some people, just want to, follow what they're following and they're happy with that. They're getting results. That is amazing. No need to fix it if it's not broken. Just take what I'm doing as information for possible future use. Maybe 6 months down the road, you'll be in a stall and you'll go, oh, I remember seeing that video where she started doing this and it worked, or maybe it's not going to work. I don't know. But, it's just all information that may or may not help you today or sometime down the road. So I appreciate you guys sticking out with me on these Tuesday talks and listening to me kind of verbalize what's going on in here, because that actually helps me too. I didn't know that when I started doing the Tuesday talks. I did not know that it would help me as much as some of you are telling me it helps you. Because I tend to live in my head, and when I put it out here in words, sometimes I'm going, yeah, that's what that is. And it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say here, but maybe some of you get it. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.